So I'm going to do two things today. The first thing is I think I'm going to change the way almost everyone in here passes the guard in one class. And I'm going to give you the most efficient way to pass that I've ever seen. And I think most of you will only want to pass this way after I show it to you. So I'm going to start today with guard passing. And I think it was roughly 28 years ago when I was a blue belt. I watched Rickson pass the guard. He had a smaller private training session. And there was a guy at the session from Washington State who was better than the rest of us. And Rickson spent quite a bit of time in his guard, passing his guard. He rolled with everybody, but he spent a lot more time with that guy. And I remember watching him now in retrospect all those years ago with his head down and his hips up and kind of driving into the guy. And I did not understand what he was doing at all at the time. And then I was trying to remember exactly when, but I think it was about 5 years ago. I had a conversation with Steve Whittier, who said three things to me, which I've written here on the board, that he had picked up from Henry as it relates to Rickson's passing game. And it clicked for me when he told me, and I just started doing it, and I haven't passed any other way since. So it's been about 4 years, this is how I pass. And what happens here is the most tiring thing in jiu-jitsu, I think, is passing the guard. That's the most cardio intensive thing usually. Even when you're escaping bottom, there's times where you'll rest. But if you're passing on somebody that has a good open guard, it's pretty tiring. They hold you, they get their guard back, and after 3 or 4 minutes, you're exhausted. This passing style reverses that whole scenario. So the person on bottom winds up using a lot more energy than you do. So that's the first benefit from it. It's not attribute based in a way where it's not reliant on speed or explosiveness or taking a particular grip. In fact, the more you focus on your grips and try and get a particular grip, the worse you're going to pass this particular style. Okay, so that means it ages better, has better sustainability, which was one of the themes of our camps a few camps ago. We talked about sustainability. This is something that you'll be able to do until you're 80 or 90, be able to pass this way. And it's the only way I would ever be able to pass a young 23-year-old really good black belt with a really good open guard. I'm going to have to pass this way. So it's efficient. And then last but not least, this fits the matrix of what jiu-jitsu was designed for, and which was the reason why I started training jiu-jitsu, which wasn't tournaments or IBJJF or any of that stuff, but for fighting. This is the pass you want to use for fighting. So for all those reasons and more, I think you guys are going to like it, okay? When I show it to you, at first you're going to say it probably seems too simple, but you're going to have to trust me, and you're going to have to work on it. You're going to have to let go of how you pass now, and then I think you'll really enjoy it. My newer belts, my blues and even some of my purples and definitely all my white belts at my gym pass this way. Some of my black belts are starting to pass this way. Some of my black belts don't pass this way. It's harder to learn this if you're stuck on doing what you already do. If you pass flat-footed, focus a lot on your grips, and try and go around or underneath, you're going to have to let all that go. So what I'm going to ask you to do is let go of what you think you know about passing or what you do know about passing right now, and try this just for a little bit and see if you enjoy it. Okay? So, can I borrow you? I've given this a lot of thought. I actually think I'm not 100% decided, but I may make this my topic for next year. But I really think what makes this passing game, what sets the table for everything else to work in the beginning, is the pressure. And if you take the pressure off even for a moment, you'll lose it. And then you kind of have to go back and reset. And so what do I mean by pressure? So if he just lays there and lets me get here, I'm going to drop my chest on him. I'm going to make him hold me up. And the grilled chicken guard does not work well against this passing style. You're going to get smashed, okay? And in a fight, the person's going to get top. At best, you're going to have half guard, and they're going to be able to hit you and do a lot of pain to you. So he's going to want to reach out to me and stop me from getting close to him. And right now, I'm going to have you put your feet just above the knees, okay? So they're here. Now, if I take base as it's normally defined here with my feet flat and my weights here, so if John moves his feet, I'm still right here, right? John can move his hips left and right. He can do a technical stand-up. can get back to his feet. If we're in a fight, he can punch me. He can up kick. He can do all that kind of stuff, right? Now I'm going to make a slight change in my base here. Okay, not a lot, but here. Now, do you feel like you can move your hips?
Not very well.
Not well? How about here?
Worst.
Worse. Can you do a technical stand-up? Try and do a technical stand-up. He's not even able to get to his feet. So what sets this whole passing game up in the beginning is that the only way your partner should feel like they can move or want to move is that way, okay? So as soon as his feet go above my knees, I'm going to lean into him a little bit. My toes come out a little bit, and I'm going to get my weight off my heels and more onto John. Not so much that I'm going to fall. So if he moves his feet, I can still have base. I'm going to occupy that space, but I can still have base. But he can only feel like he's going to go back. Okay, that's number one. That always has to be there. So I'm not reaching down and grabbing the pants. Look what happens when I go here. Now the pressure's off. Now he does that. Now we're into that counter for counter for counter. I don't want to mess with any of that, okay? So I'm here like this. I'm not bending down to grab his feet. That's the beginning. Now he's just going to move a leg, and as soon as he lifts a leg up, I'm just going to occupy that space. I'm going to step in to keep that same pressure. Here, that pressure's not there. Here, which way do you feel you can go? Only backwards. It's going to be much harder for him to come in and take a De La Hiba or whatever stuff this guy does is going to be difficult, okay? So that's the beginning. He puts his feet above your knees and just get comfortable like this. Talk to your partner, feel it back and forth. So the only way he feels like he can go is backwards. Then when he moves a leg, I want you to step forward and continue that pressure. So the only way he feels he can move is backwards. That's number one, okay? Number two, I'm going to come in. He's not going to move his leg, so I have to keep this pressure, lower my weight a little bit, and I'm going to put my hands just underneath his heels. Notice I'm not lifting, I'm just going here, okay? And now when he goes to move a foot, lift it up, yep, I can follow and control. But what I'm not doing is that, okay? So I have to squat a little bit just to get my feet under, my hands underneath his heels. And all I want to do is cup here, okay? Once I'm here, then I can move in for my pass, okay? As simple as that is, I think that pressure sets the table for everything we're going to do after.